Welcome to another SPbN revamped production. The following is rated for mature audiences and may contain graphic themes that will be distressing to some viewers. As always, we recommend you ensure the safety and well-being of yourself and those around you at all times. Viewer discretion is advised.
In the heart of night, we rise from shadows, howling at the moon, igniting our battles, cleansing Gaia of an endless fight, until our final days we will fight. Thanks, man, we stand united as one. Evil spirits lurking with horror and dread. Little light leads us where the brave dare tread. Glory and honor, wisdom in our hand. Together we rise, take our final stand. Everywhere we run, the wind is at our back. All the warring forces we will track. From the depths of the ocean to the clouds in the sky, vampires tremble as we learn to fight. Rage across Tampa, in this fight we'll stay. Evil spirits lurking with horror and dread. Little light leads us where the brave dare tread. Glory and honor, wisdom in our hand. Together we rise, take our final stand. Rage across Tampa, in this fight we'll stay. Everywhere with the pack, let the night be our guide. In battles of honor, we shall never hide. Fuck, you'll never hide.
Good evening and welcome to the St. Pete by Night Entertainment Network. St. Petersburg by Night is a World of Darkness role-playing community originating in St. Petersburg, Florida. My name is Kent, also known as Kent on all social media, and I will be your storyteller tonight. It's Friday night, and you know what that means. It's time for Hell Hounds, our Werewolf the Apocalypse 5th edition chronicle set in Tampa Bay, Florida, where a pack of young guru have traveled from Michigan to assist the Sept of the Evening Star in combating the forces of the worm, both physical and spiritual. You can follow St. Pete by Night on all of the social media listed in the description down below, and you can join our community by following that Discord link where you could take part in one of the many activities we have running all month long. We are now offering for players to run or play in 20th Anniversary or Chronicles of Darkness games as well, so head on over and join our community today. Now, let's introduce our players. Players, go ahead and introduce yourselves, if you please.
Hi there, everyone. My name is Nikki, and I'll be playing Delphine Ruin Speaker, the Silent Strider Theurge.
Oh, hey, didn't notice you there. I've been working hard so I can please you. So my name's Jay. I'll be playing Forged from Failures, the Bonar Rune.
I have never been so incredibly turned off anymore in my life. Anyway, hey there. I'm Lilith, and I'll be playing Juniper Kameen, the Ragabash Black Fury.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ben, and I'll be playing Raymond Gornd, the Ghost Council Philodox.
Okay, so for anyone who's still watching after those introductions, it's been a long 6 weeks since we were last here, players. So let's try and get caught up to where we were when we last left off. The Hell Hounds were sent to Michigan with one simple goal: to arrange a trade between the Hell Sept and the Tampa Sept. A trade for iron from the mine in northern Michigan. Iron that is essential to combating the threat of the ever-growing plants from Piney Point. Now, there may have been some bumps in the road while you were in Michigan. There may have been some trials and tribulations, like a fight that broke out in a rental property, like some personal disputes on the road to Michigan, like some ghosts. But at the end of the day, the Michigan mission was accomplished. You did secure a deal with the Michigan Sept. The cost of that deal, however, was $30,000 for repairs to the house that was destroyed by Forged from Failures and Juniper, and stakes, at least for a temporary time, who would have to stay behind to assist in procuring that iron. There would also be some favors owed to the Wisconsin and Ohio Septs. There would be a moon bridge established between between Michigan and Tampa to help in the delivery of the iron, and everything should go according to plan. They have the reinforcements they need to make the iron happen and to take the mines. At least that's what everyone thought when they departed Michigan to make their way back to Tampa. So, as you arrive back in Michigan, let's go back to that time at the beginning of August, and let's catch up over those 6 weeks we've missed until we can get to the present. And we'll start with our first scene as Raymond arrives back in Tampa to report to the Sept leader, Aspen Weiss, about everything that happened in Michigan with the mission and maybe a little bit extra. Raymond, as you arrive at the cairn, not much has changed since you departed. There has been a bit of activity. You can see that there's been some developments. A garden is in full bloom. A structure has been erected off to one side. But for the most part, everything is the same. And as you arrive, Aspen Weiss, the Sept leader, awaits you at the hand-carved table beneath the large tree that has the clave mounted above it. What's going through your mind as you head towards this meeting?
I'm honestly a little nervous to have this conversation because last time I talked to Aspen on the phone, I said some things that caused some tension. And after that, when the deal was struck and all the deals between the other Septs were made, all I did was text her. So I haven't really had a talk with her since then. And I left out the whole situation with Juniper and Forged. So there's a lot that she doesn't know about. And now that I have to explain in detail what happened, hopefully everything goes well because we accomplished the mission. We did what we set out to do. But there was a little bit more bumps than she probably expects going into this conversation.
So as you approach the table, Aspen, go ahead and describe how you look as Raymond approaches this meeting.
Aspen has her hair pulled back, cut off jeans, her hiking boots, a simple white blouse. She's kind of standing as she sees Raymond walk into the cairn proper, waiting for him to approach.
Seeing Aspen standing, waiting, I'll start walking over to the table. I'm wearing what I usually wear with my jeans, my boots, my button up, unbuttoned, sleeves rolled up, and my hat. As I get closer, I will nod at Aspen. Aspen, how's everything going?
Going as well as it can. How have you been, Raymond?
The trip down was uneventful, so I mean, it's good to be back. But there's definitely some things that we need to talk about since I last talked to you.
Comes with the territory, I'm sure. It seems that everyone has made it back safely, though.
Yep, everyone made it back except for Stakes, but that was a choice. She's safe. She's just staying up there for now, which I will get into when I explain everything that happened.
Well, no time like the present. We've got plenty of going ons here, so might as well get right into it, right?
I couldn't agree more. I'll walk over to one of the chairs, probably the one that I usually sit across from Aspen when having these discussions, and I will pull out the chair and sit down. So, in the last text you got from me, um, I mean, it was good news. We accomplished the goal and the deal was struck. We are going to be getting the iron with, and Hell will be assaulting the mine, not by themselves, but without our assistance. Stakes is staying up there to assist, and they're going to have reinforcements from the Ohio and the Wisconsin Sept. The stipulations that they talked about before, that I told you about on the phone, it was something that we could easily have done with what you recommended we give out. It was things like the Ohio asked for the technological assistance and legal aid because they're dealing with some problems up there, which you offered your services in that. And I know Artie would be able to assist them with technological issues. That's something you kind of volunteered Artie to help with. And the Wisconsin Sept was looking for a construction of a moon bridge between our Sept and their Sept, which is also something you said we were willing to do. They also are probably going to need help from Eliza with rights to be able to set up the moon bridge and also open it, and maybe a few other things. But the big thing they asked for was a favor, one that was equal to or less of what we're asking them to do, which is help assist in the acquisition of this iron.
Well, good. Most of those simple enough. Favor makes me a bit nervous, but it is what we need to do to take care of what we need to down here. So I guess we'll just burn that bridge when we get to it, right?
Yep, that's one way to look at it. Unfortunately, the deal between Hell was struck and it was accomplished, but there were some bumps that I didn't fully explain in my last text to you that at the time I felt like it was not something that I needed to tell you because it was a situation with us up there and it's something that we needed to resolve, but it led to the negotiations being a little bit more rocky than what we expected.
And what's changed your mind to tell me now?
Well, being here, having accomplished the goal, those issues don't really apply to the situation anymore. They're problems that will have to be dealt with in the pack, but it was not something that I felt like alerting you and causing you more of a headache potentially would have helped anyone. It wouldn't have helped us, and it wouldn't have helped you down here.
Or if it were to be believed, right, Raymond?
I will kind of do like a pained laugh, chuckle at that, and like kind of look down, and then look back up at Aspen. I do want to apologize for that. At that moment, at the time before that call, there was a lot of things that were happening and a lot of thoughts going through all of our heads. But being back up in hell, for me, was good. I enjoyed seeing everyone again. Some people weren't as happy. Some people weren't as glad to be up back where we came from. And a lot of suspicions were being had. A lot of suspicions were being thrown around. And that made me start to question a lot of stuff while being up there. And I was broadening those suspicions of those up there to you. I mean, it's not okay. It's not the best thing to do, especially to you as a Sept leader, but isn't it also at least somewhat of what we are trained to do, in a sense, to question and suss out things that may not be truthful? I'm not saying you're not truthful. I'm just saying sometimes being suspicious and questioning can lead to answers. And unfortunately, I did that to you.
Sussing out the truth. It's, of course, a part of the Philodox way. I can't blame you for that, but also trusting your own instincts and trusting the people around you who've not lied to you, who've given you no reason to be suspicious, sometimes in your better judgment. But I understand you're young. You had to figure it out for yourself. And hopefully it was a learning lesson. And at least you got your pack back, right?
I mean, in a sense, yes. But that leads to kind of the big hiccup that happened while we were there, one of the big bumps. And all the money that you kind of have been giving us and giving us a allowance, let's say, it's currently gone.
Okay. I'm listening. Care to explain? And she'll lean back into her chair and kind of press her hands to the edge of the table.
I don't know if I mentioned before that in one of the previous talks with Red and Aaron, they mentioned a house that they were planning to allow us to use while we were up there, so we weren't staying in motels. Forged and Juniper went to go investigate the house and went to go examine it. see what it was like, knowing that we were in a motel. They were excited to find a new place to stay. And they got into an argument. It was bound to happen. I mean, we all kind of had arguments with each other from time to time, and it was kind of their turn. But unfortunately, it led to confrontation. And little did we know that the house wasn't a random rental, but it was one of the Hellsep's elders' houses that, while he was away, he was letting us use. So there was some damage to the house that we are paying for. We've took out all the money that was given to us, and then some of our own personal funds has been going towards the payment, and it's just one of the things that broke down the negotiations beforehand was this slight against an elder, which luckily that elder didn't ask for much except for monetary restitutions.
What exactly happened to cause you to deplete all of your monetary value towards a single house? Also, it seems a bit strange that you wouldn't assume that it belonged to the Sept when the Sept was offering up a house to you, but we'll just slide past that as another lesson. But what exactly happened?
Well, the confrontation happened in the basement of the house, and so there was damage to the foundation, and that's where a lot of the money went. Some of the equipment that was there stored was damaged, which is pricey. That's where actually most of the money went to, was replacing that photography equipment that was down there. On the second, or the first thing you said, when the house was offered, I asked if it, and it was offered multiple times, and each time trying to inquire about it, it was never stated that it was owned by one of the Septs. It was not left out, but danced around that it was just a house that they were renting. That was all we knew. So it wasn't. We didn't know it was owned by one of the Sept leaders. It was completely not mentioned.
But still given to you by the Sept, correct? To live in, to reside in for the time being?
Yes. And on it, the plan was to go investigate it with everyone, but we were all dealing and talking with the people in the Sept, and I wasn't aware that Juniper and Forge were going off on their own to check it out. I would have loved to go with them, but it's a situation that happened. It's one that has been resolved, and in all honesty, I'm pretty sure they've learned their lesson, because I mean, Forged almost died, and Juniper wasn't much better. They beat the shit out of each other.
Are you aware of the reason that they had this fight?
I asked them after they regained consciousness, and currently they have, from what they say, no memory of what happened. I asked multiple times, and I I listened intently to see if that was what they believed. And as far as I'm aware, it's correct. Neither of them have been able to tell me exactly what happened to start the argument. Or sorry, to start the fight. The argument was started over a box, which I don't even know. But the fight was broken out for I don't know what reason. I don't know if the rage of the situation caused them to forget or what happened, but they have no memory of the encounter.
Pause. So there was an argument over a box. Presumably that wasn't theirs. Is that correct?
Yep.
So they were, what, investigating, and she puts up quotes, this house, and were rifling through things that didn't belong to them, which caused the argument that they don't remember escalating, but somehow were at the brink of death at the end of it. And you want me to believe that they've learned a lesson. Because if I remember correctly, one of the reasons that you left Hell in the first place was because of some of your pack investigating, she puts up quotes again, someone else's territory and rifling through things that don't belong to them. And an argument also broke out there, if I'm remembering correctly. So the fact that it's happened twice means that a lesson wasn't learned the first time. So what makes you believe, as their pack leader, that they've learned anything this time other than being brought to the brink of almost death with no recollection as to why?
At that, I'll lean back a little bit in my chair and still looking at Aspen, meeting her gaze a little bit. I believe they learned a lesson because they told me they learned a lesson. And that might not mean much. You are correct. The reason we left Hell was because of something similar. But over the months and over the time of us being together, it's been rough, but I believe that when they told me that they know they messed up and that they know that what they did was wrong, the punishments were given out by the other Sept. There was no shame. There was no trial. There was no challenge. We were able to deal with the situation ourselves. And I trust them in this way that they say that they have learned a lesson. I believe they did. Do I feel like that there needs to be a little bit more punishment from my side? Yes, that's something I'm going to do. But I believe in what they say. I believe that they learned something from this. It might be small, but at least they learned something compared to some of the other arguments and the other fights we've had. So yes, I believe they did learn a lesson.
Well, let's hope that they did, for your sake, for all of your sakes, really. And as far as you making sure that they've learned a lesson, that's on you as well. So I would make sure that they know that they didn't get off scot-free and that this wasn't just a fun little trip to Michigan where they could, I don't know, let their rebellion fly or whatever it is they felt at the time. But the problem is, Raymond, them learning, that's on you. Them learning their lessons, them doing better is on you. Because if you keep letting them get away with things or digging them out of things, sure, they'll see you as a friend, an ally, but they won't respect you.
I will lean forward from where I was and kind of put my arms on the table. It's taken a bit to gain their respect, I admit. And yeah, it's on me. And I don't know how much or how well I've done of, like you said, digging them out of the situation when they've caused trouble. But I believe that in this trip, the respect that you're talking about, I've gained in a sense, at least a bit. I'm working on it. I was not perfect in any sense of the word. I'm still not perfect as a pack leader. It's something I'm still getting better at. I understand your point. I understand where you're coming from, but give me a break a little bit.
She leans in and she smiles. Not saying that to berate you. I'm saying that as someone who's been in a similar experiences, and has been kind of right where you are. I know I have to come in here and be big, keep everything together, but I've been there too. And I'm telling you, sometimes you have to be the asshole, and it sucks. And it makes your job really difficult. But at the end of the day, it's all on you to keep them safe and to keep them alive. And if they don't learn these lessons quickly, I don't know, somebody who's lost a decent amount, it's hard to live with. And that's just me coming to you as a fellow leader, not a Sept leader.
I don't think that you're berating me in a sense. I do believe you're giving me advice, and I'm going to take it. I'm going to hear what you said, but still figuring this out. Still getting better.
And I think you're, everything considered, you're doing good. But we do have to talk about why you didn't stay, what the punishment was besides monetary value, and any other, I guess, shit that might have happened there.
Well, the money was one of the things that came from this. But there's also a loss of trust. They couldn't trust us to have their back in this situation, in assaulting the mines. They wouldn't take us, even if we all volunteered, even if we all wanted to do it. They maybe could trust one or two of us, but it was not something they wanted to do, to take all of us on this mission that was potentially extremely dangerous, to watch their backs, to have them watch ours. Because at that point, the trust wasn't there on either side. It was still very volatile from how things were left when we first left Hell. And so one of the deals that was struck was that stakes would have to stay, because they needed the full strength of their pack there to accomplish this mission. And so Stakes agreed. She wanted to do this. She wanted to do it to protect us. and to make sure that the mission we set out to do was accomplished. So she stayed voluntarily to help us, but then also help her pack.
I think that's fair coming from them after everything. And at the end of the day, the mission, as we needed it to happen, is a success. But there is bumps in the road that make me concerned. And here, we're spread thin with more and more put on our plate every day. So, facts are facts, right, Raymond? Can I trust you all to do what needs to be done here? To have more responsibility, to have less babysitting, more guru. I guess what I'm asking you is to convince me.
Like you said, facts are facts. You know, we've caused trouble in the past. We haven't been fully put together as a pack. But the fact is, yes, there were bumps, but the mission that we were set out to do was a success. We accomplished this mission. We did what you set us out to do. And in the process, while being up there, we had issues, but those issues honestly allowed us to come closer. I think being in hell was a tough situation, but as a pack, I think we're better for it. I think we're more together than we ever were before leaving. And there are still things that we need to figure it out, that we still need to work on. But I think more responsibility and allowing us to participate, like you said, as more of Geru here in the Sept, I think it'll allow us to focus. I think it'll allow us to move forward more. And I think we'll come out better for it. In the long run, I think we'll do good.
Can I trust you to keep them in line?
You can trust me to do my best. That I will do in any situation the best I can to keep everyone going forward.
Okay. Final question. Can I trust you to trust my judgment?
Yes, I will trust you.
I'll speak with Charles. For what it's worth, I'm glad you're all safe and back here. It's been, I'd like to say quiet without you all, but it hasn't. Also, just if you see large bats or dragons, she kind of like lengthens and looks away for a second. They're tentative allies, and I suggest you just steer clear for now.
I'll look a little confused at that and then slowly nod my head, still with that look of confusion. Duly noted.
I'm sure Charles can give you more information. I'm actually working on a newcomer and also talks with, that large bat situation, hopefully soon. So we'll give you more information as it comes. But for now, that's what I have for you.
Okay. I will relay the situation about the dragons and bats to the rest of the pack, and I'll wait for Charles to get a hold of us.
Thanks for coming by, Ray.
No problem, Aspen.
As you stand up to leave, walking away from the table, what are your thoughts, Raymond, after this meeting with Aspen?
I knew there was going to be somewhat of a confrontation because of the last phone call we had. At this point, I've already lost someone that I trust in how I left Red back in Hell. And Aspen isn't wrong. I've had suspicions about Aspen since I've gotten here, but everything that I've been suspicious about hasn't been something that could break my trust. And in all honesty, I need someone to trust again. And Aspen has shown that she's been very truthful to me, and she gives me advice when I need it and talks down to me when I need it, raises me up when I need it. So, I mean, in this situation, I think I can trust Aspen in everything I need to do for this current situation and continuing forward. This is going to be rough because, like I said, there's things that we need to figure out as a pack, and hopefully that trust that I'm giving Aspen and that Aspen is putting in me isn't immediately thrown out.
And Aspen, having received the full report of what happened in Michigan, or at least as Raymond tells it, what are your thoughts about the Hell Hounds' progress, or at least as it's been told?
Aspen feels as though he was being truthful. There's always bits of a story that you don't get all of. So there's still that part of it of what else am I missing in this conversation? What else is there to figure out? She knows that she needs to speak with Charles because with him being his position and being over them, his input is absolutely important. But with how the status of Tampa is now, trust has to be given at some point. And even if I can't trust the whole of the pack, maybe I can trust that Ray can figure it out.
Another meeting of leaders, another discussion, and a different parting of ways, perhaps with a better understanding of each other, a little less tense, a little more respect, maybe a more lasting respect. As respect is earned between these two, perhaps more respect can be earned between another duo as we moved on to our next scene. Our next scene takes us down by the Hillsborough River, a favorite haunt of Juniper Camines, a place of refuge, a place of peace. But peace is far from what Juniper has been experiencing for these past several days. Because just a few days ago, she had to say goodbye to one of the most important people in her life. Her second mother stakes her claim. She didn't want to, but she made a promise that she wouldn't turn back, that she wouldn't go chasing her mother, her mentor, that she would obey. Obeying is a very difficult thing for a Black Fury to do. Even more difficult for a Ragabash Black Fury to do. The stress and tension of not knowing the fate of Stakes Her Claim, of not knowing what's going on in Michigan, and all the unresolved issues with Forged, with Delphine, with the rest of the pack, with the Sept. That can make one very, very angry. Add that to the anger she's already felt from her origin of being a guru, from the murder of her family at the hands of high-quality builders. Needless to say, this is a bomb ready to go off. A bomb that a spirit known as Fenris has been stalking for quite some time. But Juniper knows something has to be done about it. She can't let it continue to grow at the rate it has been growing. So, Juniper, what do you plan to do about it?
I've talked to several members of the Sept, and I've gotten their perspectives on how they see this world that we live in, being guru, keeping their sanity throughout all of this. But I haven't quite felt like any of their answers has really connected with me. And as much as I really fucking hate the idea, the only person I can think of at this point to talk to is someone that I haven't really been happy with from the beginning. I have to talk to Charles.
So on this particular afternoon, just a few short days after your return to Tampa, you meet with Charles in your special place along the riverside, a place where you feel comfortable and prepare yourself for a very uncomfortable conversation. So as you sit upon the fallen log, a place you've sat and had many uncomfortable conversations before, it's not long before the man with the shiny shoes and the tailored suit comes walking along the riverbank and approaches. Charles Albrecht, the warder of the Sept, the worm foe, the Silver Fang Arun, the man who has been your torturer, your teacher, now to be possibly a mentor to some degree. Juniper.
Charles.
You asked to see me.
I look down at the flowing water and grimace a little bit while internally sighing before looking over at him. Yeah, I did. I fumble with my hands as I struggle to figure out how to say what I need to. I don't need your help.
I'm sorry.
No, I need your help.
I see. How can I help?
I am very, very angry all the time. Always just simmering within me, threatening to erupt and lash out at any given moment. And I'm figuring out that the world, even the one that we live in, is not black and white as I originally came into it believing. And as much as I hate it, I feel like we have some similarities, and you could help me learn to better control myself. And I'm learning to be humble enough to admit when I need actual help. Even if it's someone I'm from someone that I'm not on the best of terms with.
Did you know when your sister and I first met, we hated each other?
I'm going to be real honest and say that that's not hard to believe.
No. He gives a small, very, very small smile. She despised me. I have that effect on many. But that's by design. I don't want others to get close to me. Because if they do, it makes it that much harder to hurt them if I have to. It makes it that much harder to leave them if I have to. It means that I have to trust them. It means that I have to let them in. Your sister, as well as the rest of her pack, my pack, has been teaching me that that is a bad thing, against my wishes. So I'm going to let you in and tell you a little something about myself. I am also angry all of the time. It's what being a guru is. We are fighting a losing fight in a world that doesn't care. A world that is spiting itself, that is killing itself constantly. We are fighting to protect those that are damning themselves. Those that are fighting against us by their actions and deeds. But we do it anyway because it's the right thing to do, because someone has to. Doesn't make it easy, doesn't make it joyful, but it still needs to be done. Being angry all of the time is being guru, because that rage, that anger that you feel is your power. What you need to do is learn when it is your best weapon and when it is your worst enemy. You have been letting it control you when you should be controlling it.
I look down at the ground when he says that, and then I look at my hands and my open palms. I have done horrific things because of my rage. How do I learn to control it?
You start by learning from the things you've done. You stop punishing yourself for those things. That guilt that you feel is only fueling that lack of control. It is a lesson. Don't do it again. Learn from it. We all make mistakes. No one, even myself, is perfect. I have done terrible things, some of them that I was told to do, some that I was ordered to do. You will have to do things that are terrible in this fight. But you have to decide what you choose to do, what you choose not to do. Don't let it be decided for you. I have never put a great deal of faith in spirits, which is considered blasphemy amongst Guru. But I will not have spirits dictating my actions. That voice you sometimes hear in your head, directing you, goading you, pushing you. If it's not your voice, you don't have to listen to it. You control your own destiny. You control your own rage.
But what if I try my hardest and do my best and work so hard to keep it all contained and I still get overwhelmed by it in the end?
Find an outlet, a place to safely blow off some steam. It is like a machine. If you let it overheat, it will break down. You have been letting yourself get pent up. You've been letting your anger build up. You have contained it. For some, it's meditation. For others, it's martial arts. Find an outlet. I hunt. And cook.
You cook?
I do.
My face kind of turns into like a perplexed look. I can see it. Yeah. I've spent my whole life on a bunch of land, farming, gardening, all of that stuff. And I've been helping out a lot with that here and taking care of the cairn and the land here, but it's not toning it down. It's not taking it away. It's not resetting.
It's too close to your purpose. You need to get away. Find something that is just yours. Something that isn't about the fight. When I cook, I am detaching myself from being a guru. I am detaching myself from Gaia, even if for a moment. I am allowing myself, in those brief moments, to be human. to live. Because if we don't get to live, what is it all for? What was the point?
Yeah. I nod my head a little bit. I guess in all of this, even though it's been a relatively short time, I've forgotten how to be human, how to live instead of just survive.
I was raised in this life from the day I was born. I never had anything other than this life. I had to learn on my own what life outside of Guru culture was like. It was strange and at times off-putting. But also, it has become enjoyable, something I look forward to. And I have your sister, the other members of my pack, to thank for that. Because when you fully immerse yourself in this life, in this fight, all you have is anger. All you have is pain and suffering. That is how you succumb to Hoglosk. That is how you fall to Hirano. Because it is a never-ending fight. And at times, it seems pointless. At times, it seems like an unwinnable struggle. And at times, it can be maddening. You cannot only live this life, Juniper. It will consume you whole. The wolf will consume you whole.
I can already feel it starting to happen, and it's scaring me.
Need balance. Eliza taught me that. Stargazer, someone I was taught to distrust. But there's some wisdom in that.
Yeah. Jester actually talked to me about going to karaoke sometime. Maybe I'll take her up on that and live a little.
She's a wonderful singer. You have an opportunity. I know what you lost. Don't make the mistake of losing it again because of this fight. You have an opportunity to have it again. It won't be the same. You can't get back what you've lost, but you can have something new, something different, but still good.
Even after everything I've done?
Even then, I have something good, even after everything I've done.
I nod my head. Yeah. Okay. I think I'll start by trusting that.
No one decides what you deserve more than you. Others can punish you, like myself, like Raymond, as your pack leader, as your warder. But you decide what you deserve. You deserve to be happy, Juniper. I believe you do. But I can't make that happen. Only you can.
I want to get to a place where I feel I deserve to be happy.
Then do it.
Okay. There is another question I have to ask. Even I know that we just talked about not focusing everything on the fight and all of that, but I was also wondering if you could help me further develop my combat abilities and strategy and stuff, because just raging out and beating things up will only get you so far. Won't get you everywhere. So
I'm not sure how much more you need to be taught after what happened in Michigan, but I'll do what I can.
well, you heard about that. Yep. Well, see, it would be more helpful if I could remember what exactly happened during that fight.
Control. I can teach you control. And yes, I can teach you methods, abilities, and tactics. Yes.
I appreciate that a lot.
It's not going to be easy.
Well, it's a good thing life hasn't necessarily been easy for me.
You should ask your sister what training with me is like.
I honestly, I want to go in completely blind. Have it be a nice little surprise.
That is one of the training days, yes.
You mean like when you gassed all of us and put us on a ship?
That was a
Surprise!
test.
Yeah, it could be considered combat training.
There. I'm glad you spoke to me, Juniper. This is a difficult lesson for Guru to learn. Control the rage. Some never learn this lesson. Some try to figure it out on their own, and they do. Others struggle. It causes them to die young. I don't wish that for you. I believe you have potential. Our rage, our anger, it can serve us well, but it can also bring about our end. It is one of the best and worst gifts Gaia ever gave us. It's her way of testing us and arming us.
Yeah, it is definitely a double-edged sword.
That it is.
I just hope I can better control it before it destroys the whole pack, because I can tell that I am probably the biggest issue among us, and I don't want it to ruin everything. I don't want to ruin everything. So,
As cliche as this is going to sound, do not hope. Make the choice.
yeah. That's a good point.
Confidence goes a long way. Certainty goes a long way. Take dominion over your rage. Take control of it. You are a fierce warrior. It is just a tool for you to wield, a weapon for you to use. It belongs to you, not the other way around.
As I contemplate and think about his words, my face starts to change from a guarded and angry demeanor into something more soft and neutral. I understand. I really do. And I needed to hear that.
Give me a composure and resolve check. You can take an additional die.
Ooh. I'm only at like a rage 1, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I got 1 success and a brutal outcome on the die. So
Okay. While you feel you force your features to soften, you still feel that roiling within. It's going to take some work. It's going to take some time, and it's It's going to take a lot of practice to stamp that fire out. But the words are there. Now you just got to get them to sink in. Shall we begin? Charles says.
Ready when you are.
He begins to walk towards the cairn. As you stand up and prepare to follow, what's going through your head after this conversation?
Well, first of all, this went way fucking better than I expected it to. I thought that my own smart ass mouth was going to get me in trouble. Um, but it didn't. And I see Charles in a different light now. And going with the theme of our conversation, I see him in a more humane way, like a more human way. This was a side of him I haven't experienced because everything has been him and straight up Charles mode, so to speak. So it was really nice to just have this one-on-one and me finally swallowing down my pride and asking him for help is probably one of the best decisions I've made since fucking a lot of things up so far. So I am I know that I'm going to get a better handle at this and that I am going to be better. I can already feel it.
As you head off for an afternoon of pain, a lot of pain, you find the distraction welcoming. Because even if it is just for a couple of hours, it does take your mind off of what could be happening in Michigan. It does take your mind off of that anger you feel inside because it gives you something else to focus it on. Gives you something else to do. But it won't go away. At least not now. Maybe with some more time. But a little bit more respect was earned. And it doesn't just go one way. We transition now to our final scene of the first half of tonight's story. The transition back to Tampa has been easy for some and harder for others. But the hardest transition has probably been for Delphine Ruinspeaker because she ran out of drugs in Michigan. And when she got back to Tampa, she tried immediately to get in touch with Spud. Problem was, Spud wasn't available. So without a score, what's the first thing she did? Broke her cell phone. Out of a fiendish urge, the shattered remains of her phone in her hand, she rushes back to the house, hoping that maybe there was one stash that she'd left behind, one small bit that she had forgotten about. Something left to just take the edge off, because it's been days now since she's had a fix. Days since she's felt normal. She's felt right. For an addict, feeling right all that matters. It matters more than friends. It matters more than family. It matters more than sleep. It matters more than food. It matters more than anything. So, Delphine, what's going through your mind as you arrive back to the house where you've been avoiding since you've arrived back in Tampa?
Her thought process is actually pretty straightforward because all she can think about is just getting a fix. She doesn't give a crap about anyone else's feelings except for her own right now. She wants to feel better. Fuck everyone in this house. Fuck everything going on. That's not important to me. Everyone can go fuck themselves right now, and I just want to feel better. I want to be selfish. I want to fucking have something go right for me for once. And as she's thinking that, she is carelessly not like when she go looking for any drugs she might have left behind, she is making a mess of the girl's room, not caring what state she leaves it in. She's not cleaning it up. It's not her problem to deal with when she leaves.
Someone else who's had a rough time since they left Michigan is Forged from Failures. We saw the death of one of their closest friends when they exploded, quite literally, after turning into some monstrous creation at the hands of a woman that they had only met once before. That memory still lingering in your mind, Forged. You've been feeling some kind of way. What way is that?
Forge, it's been a kind of conflict of emotions, almost like a cycle, where Forge would feel sad at first, just remembering the good times between him and Duncan, of the memories they shared, the fact that Duncan was always pushing for Forge to be a better person, and now when it finally feels like maybe he is becoming that person, or maybe the chance for that, he is gone. You know, the one guy that really wanted to see him succeed is not here to witness it anymore because of his actions, of Forge's actions. And that kind of sadness turns into anger, thinking about how that woman needs to pay. She needs to be punished for what she did to Duncan, about what happened. You know, her and everyone else she works with, they need to be brought down. You know, for Duncan is probably what he would have wanted, Forge imagines. And it's just been kind of that cycle, sadness leading to anger, and then that anger eventually just fading a little bit to more sadness, and it just keeps feeling itself. That's trying to figure out what to do and how to fix this.
To top all that off, the unexpected departure of Rory, who packed all her things in the middle of the night and took off without a word. The closest companion you had in the pack, now gone. Not even leaving a note, just departed. So needless to say, when Delphine arrives, charging through the house into the room, and the sounds of crashing coming from the girls' room, this is where our scene begins. The scene is yours.
Forge was in his room, you know, kind of probably across the hallway or a little bit down the hallway, drinking some beers. He has 2 beers already drunk, one halfway through, and like one set across from him, as if he's expecting someone else to maybe show up, or maybe just have that for a possible friend. Playing his guitar, as he hears this noise, he kind of groans to himself, realizing no one else is probably home right now, as he gets up and goes over to investigate what the hell's going on.
You basically see what was described as just Delphine not even acknowledging you because she probably hasn't even isn't even aware of your presence with how focused she is on trying to find what she's looking for. But the room by this point is in a state of disrepair. The sheets are off all of the beds. Any books that were on the desk have been moved. Some of them opened, pages rustled through. The drawers have been opened. She's in the process of just rummaging through them, pulling things out, discarding them on the floor.
Forge just standing there with a dirty muscle tee that the couple stains on it. As the eyes are a little bit bloodshot, he wipes them for maybe any remnants of tears or like that in his face. He just kind of speaks, just kind of clears his throat and says, Delphine, what the fuck are you doing?
She'll jump a little bit, not having expected someone to speak up, but she just holding like probably someone's t-shirt. She's not even sure whose at this point, but holding one of the t-shirts in her hand as she was about to discard it, she'll just look at him and just look around the room and then just toss the shirt carelessly back into the drawer. I'm just looking for something.
What are you looking for? I can.
No, you can't find it. It's fine. It's probably in here somewhere. I just gotta keep looking for it. And she's just a little twitchier than she normally is. Her eyes are also bloodshot. She's sweaty. She's pale. She's been chewing on her fingernails until they're basically just to the nail bed. And she's been picking at the corners of her mouth, so leaving just some irritated skin and some scabs.
So, if I can't find it, then you apparently can find it. You've torn this whole room up.
I just gotta find. I would have put it away. I just can't remember where I might have put it, or if one of them found it and hid it from me. I don't. Just gotta. She's just gone back to rummaging through the drawers.
There's a moment as Forge is standing there, kind of leaning against the door right now. He contemplates, maybe I should just walk out. Like, maybe this doesn't concern me. Why should I care about Delphine? It's nothing. This is nothing. But another kind of thought in his mind that he should help, that he should be here for her. She's clearly struggling. As he lets out a sigh, as he'll kind of push himself off the doorway and walk up towards her, as he'll say, look, Delphine, you've been out for a little bit. If there was anything here, Juniper probably already grabbed her, maybe Rory on her way out, or at the very least, Charles probably searched this place high and low. He knows everything about this fucking place. Like, you want to chill on the couch for a moment, and we can come back to this maybe a little later. You might find something at least. I can get you a beer. Don't really have a lot left, only 2.
She's gritting her teeth as she's listening to him, now hyper-focused on the fact that someone might have gotten rid of it. Maybe Juniper, maybe Rory, maybe Charles, maybe Rory fucking took it when she left. They've always been fucking up her ass over the drugs. They don't want her doing them. They probably did just take them, so they don't want her to make her own fucking decisions for her. So now she's just hyper-fixating on that. She'll just slam the drawer closed and just very loudly, just while slamming it closed, just screaming out, "Fuck!" She's just breathing very heavily and she's spiraling a little bit. She doesn't know how to process what she's feeling right now. She hasn't felt like this shitty in forever. And she'll just look at him and just fucking sucks. Everything is fucking garbage.
Sound a little bit like me there, but yeah, it sounds like you're having a tough time with your supplier. Something going on with Spud?
He's out of town, and I just realized I don't fucking have his phone number memorized, and I broke my fucking phone, so when he does come back in town, I'll have no fucking idea that he's back in town. Which means I'll have to fucking go out looking for him, and then I'm gonna have Aspen on my ass because she said, oh, you're not supposed to talk to Spud, and everyone is fucking just micromanaging fucking everything. She just starts gritting her teeth, just struggling to talk now, and just shaking a little bit.
Delphine, why don't you want to sit on the couch? I'm gonna grab you a water. If you want to sit on the couch, you can. If you want to stay in here, you do so. I'm just gonna grab you a water real quick. I'm needing one myself, to be honest. I've been having a fucking headache, but whatever. I'll be right back. And she'll walk out to go grab a water.
She'll take a little bit of time getting out. She'll be breathing a little heavily, trying to refocus. But eventually she will just leave the room. She'll, like I said previously, she will not care about cleaning anything that she did. She'll just half-heartedly pull the door shut behind her, and she will start going over to the couch. She'll see the fur-covered, musty-smelling blanket that she had made for steaks that got left behind, and she'll probably grab it up and just put it over her lap, trying to bring her knees up to her chest, trying to keep the shaking and the cold, because she's just really cold right now, even though she's also boiling hot.
Forge comes back in with 2 cups of water, as he'll put one down in front of Delphine and take a sip for himself as he sits down on the couch. Not turning on the TV yet. He's just kind of sitting there, giving like some distance for Delphine, like at the other end of the couch, making sure she has enough space for herself, as he'll kind of think of what to say for a moment before he'll speak up and say, well, I mean, if we can probably go look for Spud, did he give you a time frame he was coming back into town? We can at least have an idea, or we can just ask them around for some people. He probably has other people maybe has his number or can tell you.
If he responded, I saw the text message saying that he was out of town, and then the screen went, those ink blots that the screens sometimes get?
Yeah, I know.
That happened, and then the screen shattered. So if he responded, I have no idea.
Doesn't it, like, don't phones have SIM cards or anything like that like transfer all the information to another phone? I know. I was looking into getting a new phone recently. I lost my old one. Kind of why I've not been seeing me on my phone lately. I've been trying to save up a little bit that I can to actually get a new one, but shit's expensive these days.
Most phones have eSIMs these days, but I don't know, maybe the physical SIM was activated on the phone, but the SIMs don't actually hold any of the information, just your phone number.
I think they make that better, but whatever. Actually, couldn't you just talk to the spirit of the phone? Can you just do that and the spirit of the phone get you shit?
Spirits don't like me when I'm like this.
I mean, if that's the case, like I said, we can ask around, go to Ybor, probably have some people he knows there. Just, well, we'll figure out something, just. And he just kind of sits there awkwardly for a second, takes another sip of his water.
She'll glance over at him. Are you high or something? You're really calm and lazy sounding. Not that you're lazy, you sound like you're high. Mellow.
I wish, honestly. Fuck, it would be a lot nicer if I had at least something, but I got my stuff from Rory, and she, kind of bailed and just, been some stuff on my mind lately. You know how it is, kind of. You just looks around, like, not sure how to, like, unsure and kind of a little nervous almost. If he not sure how to open up or talk about this.
What, are you still thinking about your fight with Juniper or whatever, or the breaking apart, not the house? She just rubs her temples a little bit, just struggling to keep people's identities straight.
It's not that. You should take a sip of your water, by the way. Kind of. Like, don't make efforts to grabbing you a water go for nothing, okay? But no, it's. I mean, to be honest, out of all people, you'd probably understand this the most. But before we left Hell, I met up with a buddy and lost someone. So it's been kind of rough with that, and stakes going up for the mission, and Rory hightailing it to wherever. Just been kind of a lot,
Who died?
May sound a little hard to believe, but my best friend, I still at least have a few of them up in Hell, friends that is, named Duncan. Don't think any of you ever met him. He was a dude I knew from high school. I always thought he was a little bit annoying, but he always stuck around. So always kept telling me to try and be better. Pushed me to actually attend stuff, to go to wrestling practices. We hung out, and I know before I left, for the first time, I told him I'd stop by when I was in town and I'd see him again, And I didn't quite get to keep that promise. So.
What, you found out he died while we were down here? Or something like that?
At this point, Forge, like, leans forward, like, elbows on his legs, kind of wringing his hands, remembering what happened, looks down. No, it's hard to talk about. He got killed in front of me. Or I guess I should say he was already dead. He got turned into one of those things. Those mushroom fungus zombie things.
She'll furrow her brow and then, focus for a moment. Just, wait, what? But Red said that they hadn't seen any of those up there.
I guess that either he didn't know he was wrong, or that was something recently made, because he was this awful zombie thing mixed with other people. It's that
Forge, I
woman.
don't. What?
What?
What woman?
I should start from the beginning. It probably makes more sense. I told my bro I'd hang out with him, and when I went over, I was shocked to see that, that chick from the bar, Hell Bar, that we saw before, that was kind of weird, and you know, I made that sandwich for.
The lady that that knew my parents?
Yeah, yeah. She was there, and I really should have known something was up, something was weird, but I just wanted something normal. I've stuck up with all this bullshit, and I just wanted experience away from it all. Feel like somewhat my old self again. And so I sat down, talked with her for a bit. We shared stuff about our lives, and eventually she said she was going to head out, or she said to actually no, she said that she was going to call in my friend, and he walked out of his room as a fungus zombie, and yeah, that I tried to save him. I tried to knock him out. Maybe he'd think we could cure him, but they planted a bomb in him, and I had to jump out, and it blew up the whole place. I lost my phone and my clothes there.
Forge, what did you tell her? What did you tell her, Forge? Because that lady knew. If that lady said she worked with my parents, she told Juniper that she worked with my parents. That my parents worked for fucking Pentex. What the fuck did you tell her?
Let's see. Or kind of go to lean back again, not looking at you, just kind of looking at the empty screen. As there's just like a couple moments of silence, like these, taking deep breaths, trying to remember the conversation and everything going on, keep composed himself, as he'll say. Just talked a little bit about, the people that I work with. You guys shared a little, like, just tidbits and facts, not anything super deep, just more stuff I was annoyed about and things I kind of liked about some of you guys. And she told me some stuff about hers. She told me about some people she worked with, some of her coworkers. Apparently, one of them was someone that was lost. He was ambitious, and they got him a new direction. And their CEO apparently guides work with a whip. She's very, I don't know. It's shared a little bit, and I got a little bit, but you see, like, now you actually look to you this time, like, actually with a look of resolve you haven't quite seen from Forge before, and not of like wild anger, but like a more cold, focused anger, as you'll say. I'm going to make her pay. I'm going to take away the people she cares about, and then take her out, so at least she knows what the fuck she did to me, and to make it so Duncan's death meant something. He didn't just die for no reason and wasn't avenged.
Are you ready to go into that fight with a disadvantage? Because she probably got what she needed out of you, information-wise, if you were telling her stuff.
I don't care if I'm going in at a disadvantage. I don't care if I have to do it alone. I have to do this. Duncan, he was one of the only few people who actually believed in me before you gave me a chance to see me actually try and be somewhat better. He got killed because I guess he was connected to me. So I can't, I'm not going to let that happen.
I'm trying to say words that aren't mean right now. But you need to we need to tell Ray and Juniper, probably the Sept, about this lady, because you might have to disclose exactly what you told her to everyone involved, because that's an advantage she has now. And I'm sorry about your friend, Forge, but this is not good. That lady was in 2 places at once. That's not human stuff.
Delphine, I know it isn't good. I've been knowing that. I've been singing with that in my head for ever since it happened. I know. I know that I'm going to make it right. I have to make it right. And that I gotta get the get back for Duncan. And I figured it's kind of funny. I figured this would be. I guess I kind of understand where you came from, or at least your situation a little bit, losing someone, people you care about, and yours is a little bit more complicated and shitty. I would not want that one. At least I can get vengeance on mine, even though it may seem almost impossible for someone who was in 2 places at once.
She grimaces at the mention of how he can get vengeance on the person who wronged him, and she just grips the blanket just a little bit tighter in her fists. Let's maybe not talk about that right now, because I'm already a little bit on edge. And I think, and let's be real, you'd win the fight if it came to that.
At least let you get a couple swings in. At least let you work a little bit of anger out. Oh. I want to help out if I can.
I'll feel better once Spud's back in town, but I am trying to empathize right now. Just the anger is a little close to the surface. But again, I am sorry about your friend. I think if you do tell Ray, and surprisingly enough Juniper, they'll definitely want to help, Juniper especially. You two, I don't know if you two bonding over revenge on Pentex is going to be a good thing or a bad thing. We'll see. But I think you need to tell people about the encounter. I think you need to tell Charles, and I guess he can determine what needs to be reported to Aspen, but we need to try to get somewhat ahead of this. We can fix it, but we need to sort it out first.
Yeah, it's just been rough with everything going on and trying to figure out my shit about it. But yeah, you're right. When we get a chance, I'll talk to everyone about it. Probably with Charles around, get everything going at once. I mean, if you're feeling kind of pissed off, you take the car. I don't know if you ever done this before, but something you used to do up in Hell. Take the car, drive around a little bit, and if there's a mailbox, just take a little bat out and swing at it. I mean, if you want to break something, or I mean, there's probably a few things out back we can break. If you're feeling kind of pissed, need to let out some anger.
We're literally Guru. We can shapeshift into teen wolves and punch each other in the face and then heal afterwards.
If you want to punch me in the face, I mean, we could do a little sparring match. Fortunately, she's not didn't seem too particularly excited by that idea, but he still nods to it, and he'll just kind of me looking at you. He'll say, if you want, like I said, we can do that.
I don't know what I want to do. I think I do need to get back to the cairn though, because I don't think I'm good around people and civilization the way I am right now. Been staying there, but I think I need to get back before I snap.
Fair enough. I can head with you, and I mean, I can see when I go get my phone if there's a phone we can go together, or I can just get you another phone and we can go from there. I mean, we can do that.
She'll nod and she'll put the blanket back on the couch as she gets up, being actually careful to fold it and set it down gently on the couch cushion. And then she'll just nod to him and I brought the car down if you want to hop in, or maybe you should. How much did you drink?
I only had a few. It's fine. I can drive. I've driven in way worse states.
Yeah, fuck it. And she'll just toss him the keys.
He'll catch him in the air. He'll stand up, and he'll actually say, before he goes, did you clean up the room before you left?
No.
All right, perfect, great. He'll start walking out. He'll laugh to himself as he gets ready to get into the car.
As the two of you climb in the car, drive to pick up some new phones and to head to the cairn, what's going through your minds after this conversation with one another? Delphine, we'll start with you.
She's feeling unsteady. She's feeling shaky. She's not feeling in control of herself right now, which is not fun for her in any capacity. She likes to make herself feel at least a little bit better in terms of the her strengths in the pack. She likes to think that she's the one that could hopefully keep her cool more under pressure than say Juniper or Forge, but right now she's feeling she doesn't trust herself right now, and it's kind of putting her off. And she's desperately pleading with whatever omnipotent beings there exist in the universe, Gaia, if there is a god, whatever. She is pleading with them to bring Spud back soon because she does not want to keep feeling the shakes. She doesn't want to keep feeling the dehydration, the panicking, the anxiety. She doesn't want any of this anymore, and she just wants to feel normal again.
And Forged.
Forge is feeling a lot better now. The Kavathi, that this was something that was weighing on him for quite a while, kind of kept to himself because he was, admittedly very worried about the reception of this to anyone else. Because, with another failure from Forge from failures, kind of having a long list of those, and especially the death of his friend, he takes as a failure of his own end. So, but getting kind of the reception wasn't the most nice, which is fair enough, but still was not as bad as he expected it to be. So he's feeling pretty good, and especially that weight off his chest helping him a lot. He's now kind of in help the Delphine mode in his brain, where he sees the Delphine suffering, so some odd part of him that he's not used to hearing, the voice he's not used to listening to, that tells him to help others when they see them suffering. He's kind of following that now and feeling at least somewhat good about it, knowing that he can help out his pack mates when he can.
Sometimes, no matter how hard we try to show respect to others, it really comes down to if they're in a state to receive it. Will all this effort Forged is putting in to be respectful to Delphine last with her, considering her state? That only remains to be seen. We now go to our break. We'll be back in just a few minutes with the second half of tonight's story. As we return, it's been about a week since you left Michigan. You're called to the cairn in the evening to meet with Artie, who has asked you to bring the path stones that you were given in Michigan so that he can establish the moon bridge. He says that the process takes a while, and so he's going to need the stone so that he can establish the bridge, so that when the trade is ready, they can start bringing the iron through the moon bridge after the assault on the mine. So as you arrive at the cairn late in the evening, making your way through the trees, you come upon a large bonfire that has been erected in the middle of the clearing. Large branches are stacked in a triangle formation. The fire is burning, probably about 7.5, 8 feet tall. A roaring blaze, sending plumes of smoke up into the air. Artie is sitting on a camping chair, and you can see that several other camping chairs are set out as well. And he stands up as all of you arrive with a warm smile. There are several cardboard containers full of coffee and several plastic cups or styrofoam cups stacked up nearby. There's also some 2 liters of soda and even a 12-pack of beer on the hand-carved wooden table nearby, which he gestures to for everyone to help themselves as everyone arrives. Go ahead and describe yourselves, starting with Delphine and working your way down.
Delphine looks pretty haggard. She's not holding herself she's not holding her shoulders back. She's not straightened up. She's got pretty hunched with her shoulders drooped, her head drooped. She's wearing a thick turtleneck that's very oversized and baggy with a long skirt that reaches her ankles. And her hair looks like it hasn't been brushed in a couple of days and probably has like a couple of leaves sticking out of it, as she's just been pretty much sleeping out in the cairn in lupus form whenever it comes time to go to bed. And she is very shaky still, kind of chattering her teeth a little bit as she tries to sit as close to the fire as she can.
Forge is approaching with a black muscle tee that says the word "It's not polite to stare, but I understand" on it. Wearing kind of short, plain black workout shorts. He kind of didn't not like particularly looking amazing, but at least cleaned himself enough to be presentable. As he's currently looking very interested at the free drinks sitting out as he looks among them, rummaging around. He just kind of called out, "Wait, do we have marshmallows? If we have a giant bonfire, you better have marshmallows." As he grabs himself a bottle of beer as he goes to sit down at a decently close spot to the fire.
Juniper is wearing a just a basic black t-shirt with the sleep token symbol on it, and wearing khaki pants and her usual hiking boots. She is sitting not super close to the fire, but enough to still be part of the group, and her very curly hair is pulled back into 2 Dutch braids.
Ray is wearing like a dark green t-shirt, jeans, some work boots, his army hat that he always is wearing, and then normally he has his button up on, but I have it thrown over shoulder. It's nice and warm out, and we're near a fire, so this is off for the night.
Artie smiles over to Forged and then reaches down to a satchel beside his chair and pulls out a bag of marshmallows and tosses it over to Forged, as well as some graham crackers and a chocolate bar. He then pulls out some long metal stakes with wooden handles and sets them in the middle before looking out at everyone. Did anyone bring the pathstones?
Delphine will nod and pull them from her own satchel, where she kept them wrapped up each individually in bandanas from the Hell gift shop, and she'll get up, stand, and walk over to him and hand him off.
Thanks, Delphine. Takes them and sets them down beside the chair. So, I figured while we have some s'mores, we could have a little chat, hear how things went up in Hell. Seems like it was quite an adventure, so I heard. I got a call from Sean, and figured we could have a little bit of a chat about things, how everything went.
Currently, Forge is right now setting his marshmallow on the stick. He's currently impressed with all this stuff. You know, we're really been, bougie today with all the marshmallow stuff. And back in his day, he would just get the stick and marshmallow, and that was it. So he's currently enjoying that. He kind of sticks his marshmallow towards the fire as he'll just turn and say, yeah, I mean, the trip wasn't half bad for the most part. Just a couple of shitty moments, but surprisingly, the people there were pretty chill. I mean, last time we were there, they're kind of assholes. I mean, on their ass all the time, but I guess they realized they were kind of being dicks.
Well, I know it can be hard to go back to the Sept that she started at, and from what I understand, it was not the best time starting out there. They weren't the best teachers, and that they didn't do the best job raising you guys. I know it was a tough first impression when you got here, from what I understand, and thankfully, it seems like you're warming up to us. But I guess let's get into some of that shitty spots that happened. Like, anybody want to talk about that?
Not really.
Delphine just like kind of out of the corner of her eyes, is glancing between Forged and Juniper.
As Delphine is glancing between the both of us, I just raise my legs up and wrap my arms around and just kind of hide my face a little bit into my arms.
All right. Well, let me say this. This isn't anybody getting in trouble. This isn't a chiding thing. This isn't me coming down on anybody. I want you to know, when I started out as a guru, I started out by myself in Tampa. I was one of the only guru that I knew of. I didn't even know what a guru was. I changed. There were no guru around to help me. Eliza was in Hirano. She was no help. Ryder, who none of you had the privilege, and he holds up air quotes, to meet, was a complete asshole. I had to figure a lot of this out for myself, and it was rough. So I'm not here to get anybody in trouble. I'm not here to cause any shit. I'm here to help. Bonding as a pack is difficult. When this pack came together that I'm a part of, we were all strangers that came from different parts. Aiden and Aspen were the only two who knew each other, really, from before, and the rest of us had to figure it out on our own. We didn't have a lot of leadership. We didn't have a lot of mentors. We kind of had to make our own way, and it wasn't always easy. We had bickering amongst ourselves, we had fighting, and we had issues and disputes, but we had to, under fire from leeches and banes and all kinds of issues, figure it out. Because if we didn't, we died. Luckily, you guys don't have to do that. We got you. We're here to help. And as much as it seems like we're going to come down on you when you fuck up, as much as it seems like we're punishing you, it's not like that. We're trying to help you. We're trying to protect you, and we're trying to get you ready for what's ahead, because shit's going down for real here right now. We've got some crazy stuff happening right now, and I'm here to answer any questions you might have about any of that stuff. And I'm going to give you the real answers about it, not the politicized answers, not the what you need to know answers. Because I've been there. I've gotten the line. My first moot, I was kept out of a lot of the conversations because I was just the new kid on the block from Tampa, the place nobody wanted to go. People were very suspect of me. So I get it. What it feels like to be new, what it feels like to be left out, what it feels like to be a fuck up. You are not fuck ups. You're figuring it out. But you're also needing to figure it out together. And together is a very difficult thing to do. Because you all come from different backgrounds. You all come from different places. You all have things in common, and you all have things that are very different and opposing. So let's talk about it. Let's get it out there and let's figure it out. Because once you do, trust me, man, once you get it out there, once you settle the beefs, there's nothing you can't face. There's nothing you can't figure out, and there's nothing you can't overcome. And I know I'm sounding like I should have a rainbow strap guitar and be in a carpeted gymnasium right now. But I'm telling you, this pack changed my life. It really did. And it made me a better person. It made me a better guru. It gave me a purpose. And I wouldn't be alive. I wouldn't be here without them. And I don't have everything in common with all of them. Aspen and I are opposites in so many ways. But she's also the love of my life. And I'd do anything for her. And I wouldn't have found that if I wasn't willing to push past my biases for people in suits. If I wasn't willing to overcome the differences the two of us had, and if she wasn't either. So even if you got into scraps in the basement, even if you lied to the elders of the Sept, both ours and theirs, doesn't matter. We can put it behind us because everybody fucks up. Everybody does. It's easy to do in this culture. The rules are fucking crazy here. And the crazy part is they can make them fit whatever they want. Trust me, they can make those rules fit in any way they want them to. You're lucky you've got a leader here who is on your side. For a Silverfang, that's saying something. You should have seen Charles when he first got here. Holy shit.
It's tough to imagine him any worse than he is now currently, but
it was bad.
It's been tough.
It was bad. Poor Aiden. I wish you could have seen him and met him. He got it rough, Charles. As the Arun, he went through it.
I'm suddenly feeling a lot more grateful now that, how he's currently treating us. If he treated the other Haroon pretty badly, sounds like I dodged a bullet there.
He drowned him.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
What was the reason for the drowning?
Because he didn't answer the phone.
Is that like the actual reason?
Yes. Because his Sept leader called and he didn't answer the phone.
I mean, I gotta say, Forge, you did get your jaw broken, but I think you dodged a bullet.
Literally.
You broke the litany.
He
He had all rights to kill you. and you got your jaw broken.
Well, I mean, let's be clear here. He did sneak a sneaky jaw hit. All right, look, if it was on more equal footing, maybe it might not happen. But yeah,
I'm just
I can
saying.
see a dodge the bullet.
I'm just saying. So we all have our things. He wasn't perfect when he got here, but he was what the old nation represented. We're trying to change that. We're trying to make it more understanding of mistakes. The difference is here in Tampa, those mistakes could get you killed. And if they're with each other, even more so. You can't have a lack of trust with each other. You can't have that kind of fear of each other, that kind of lack of understanding with each other. You got to be on the same page. Now, I'm not saying you have to know each other's life stories. I'm not saying you have to bear all, even though you will many, many times, trust me. But you have to at least trust each other, especially when the shit hits the fan, especially when you're out there. You gotta not have any question that the other guru next to you is gonna have your back. Because if they don't, it's over. And too many guru have fallen because of that. There aren't a lot of us left. Trust me, I've traveled this country and we're becoming less and less by the day.
Question.
Yeah.
In your guys' growing pains, did you incidentally discover that one of your pack mates murdered your family members, and then you basically felt guilted into having to forgive her, and now you have to fix the problem for her? That is those familial members literally haunting her? Because let me tell you, I don't think that's something. I don't think that that's something that is taken lightly here.
Well, no, I'd say that's a new one. That's definitely not one we've experienced. But if anyone can do it, I think you can.
I just all right, we want to get some feelings out of the way. I feel like I'm being made to feel like I'm the insane one for having to be like that. I have to be okay with what she did.
You don't. Nobody's saying you have to be okay with what she did. Nobody. You can be angry. You can be hurt. You can be a wide variety of feelings. You can feel whatever you want to feel. What you do with those feelings is what matters, Delphine. You can do a wide variety of things with those feelings. But what you do, no matter what it is going to impact this pack, is going to impact this fight, is going to impact this Sept, because you are a pack. Just like Juniper has feelings about what she did, feelings that caused her to do what she did. And what she did impacted this pack, impacted this Sept, impacted this fight. I am not going to ask you to feel anything. I'm not going to ask you to feel okay. I'm not going to ask you to feel not okay. No one's going to ask you to feel anything than what you feel. What we are asking you to do is help us, is help your pack, is help yourself, is help your pack mate, is help your Sept. And maybe along the way, you will find some peace. Maybe. I can't guarantee it. I don't know. You're right. None of us have done this. None of us have experienced this. But maybe you'll find peace. And if you don't, I believe once that part is done, you will have a packmate who will do anything to help you find peace. You'll have a whole pack and a whole sept who will work to help you find peace. Because that's how you establish those bonds. I know it's a lot of work and a lot to ask of you. I know it is. And I wouldn't blame you if you didn't want to do it. I wouldn't. But if you do, you won't regret it. I promise.
I've said a couple of times now that I want us to all to, come together as a pack. And coming together as a pack means helping each other out in any and all situations that we can. So you don't have to do this alone. I mean, it's going to be a great uphill battle to figure this out. And you don't have to shoulder it all on your own. Like Artie said, we're here, the Sept's here. There are a bunch of people that can help. As long as, you ask for it, we can help.
You can also probably have Eliza do it, but you're going to have more insight than she is. You're going to be of greater help than she is. If you really don't want to do it, and again, I wouldn't blame you if you didn't. This is very personal. I'm not pressuring you either way. I promise you that. I wouldn't judge you either way. But I am not going to tell you what to feel. Because if I were in your shoes, I wouldn't know what to feel. I'd be very hurt and very angry. And I don't know what I would do.
With all due respect to Eliza, I don't know if I can trust her to do it. Because, as far as I'm aware, the only way to do it is to either give in to their demands or to, and she'll glance at Ray, to completely destroy their souls and kill them even beyond. And frankly, I think my parents deserve, despite what they did for a living, deserve some peace in the afterlife that doesn't involve total annihilation. But I'd have to find a ghost council to figure that out, potentially.
One thing I've learned, being a guru as long as I have, and we're going on 10 years now, there's always a third option. You just gotta find it. It's buried deep somewhere in old lore or funky history or in some ancient guru or spirit's back pocket somewhere. And it may require you to do something crazy or make some funky deal. But there is a third option.
Well, unless you know a ghost council, because that's who Sean told me to seek out.
I know too. One of them is right here. And the other one is in Virginia.
An older ghost council.
Yeah. I do. In Virginia.
Okay. Can I get put in contact with them?
Yes.
I also wouldn't mind getting into contact with them, because as far as I'm aware, I'm the only ghost consul around the immediate area. So I
There
would
is
love to learn from someone else.
a small sept of Ghost Council up in Virginia. I visited them while I was doing my walkabout. Yeah. Their leader's a little grumpy, but yeah.
As long as they're not too grumpy, I'm sure we can figure it out.
His name's Mountain Claw, if that tells you anything.
It's kind of badass, actually. Like Forge right now currently has like a double stacked s'more, 2 marshmallows, 2 things of chocolate, like crushing it down, trying to get it in its mouth, but kind of struggling a little bit.
But thank you for sharing that, Delphine. I appreciate that. I really do. Because that's a big one. That is a big one.
She just kind of just sits back in her chair, and goes back to just biting on her thumbnail.
Well, Ray, you got anything you want to put out into the fire here?
As I'm standing out, just this entire time staring at the fire, I will walk over, grab one of the beers, and sit down next to Forge and grab one of the little pokers, start roasting my own marshmallow. I mean, we've already had a bit of a talk in hell. Stakes made us have that talk. So, you know my feelings currently, and I feel like you all accepted what I was feeling in that moment and accepted the opportunity to give that little bit of respect, which I appreciate. I'm dealing with a lot, but at the moment, I don't know if I'm ready to fully share that. I'm sorry if that's not what you wanted to hear right now, but sooner rather than later, I will definitely open up about it.
That's all anyone can ask.
Maybe one day you'll learn how to talk, not sounding like you're walking on eggshells or choosing every word extremely carefully, huh?
I mean, we've had plenty of conversations recently where have you felt like you've had to walk on eggshells around me?
No, it's more just feels like every time you're talking, it feels like you're going through every possible word just to make sure you choose the right one sometimes. You know what I mean? Am I the only one here, or anyone else agreeing with that?
Maybe some
Definite.
people like to put thought into what they're saying before they just spit it all out of their mouths.
I open my mouth to say something to that, then I pause. Then I just shut my mouth as I will keep it to myself for a second as I'll look to Delphine as what she was saying.
She's already looking right at you.
Just eye to eye connection right now. We both just have to swallow back a few words.
She's looking at you like, listen, you're the one that's gotta fucking say it, not me.
And Forge will eventually kind of clear throat and he'll say, I mean, that is a little crazy coming from you. Actually, no, it's not crazy at all. It's very expected coming from you, Juniper. You kind of like choosing your words very carefully, huh? Like saying very specific pieces of information and holding on to stuff to your chest.
I think that we all do that here, Forge. Is there anything you want to get off of your chest?
I mean, I like to think I'm pretty straightforward, pretty, honest about shit. You all know who I am, about what I kind of stand for. That's I have some stuff I was gonna share when we were hanging out with Charles at some point, but I mean, I I guess I can talk about it right now a little bit. Kind of one thing led to another. I went to visit my best friend up north, and that weird chick we saw at the bar one time. Apparently, you saw her at like the truck stop, Ray. But do you remember when I made that sandwich for her at the shop, at the bar? I mean,
That rings a bell.
Yeah. Wasn't she the one that like asked about Delphine's parents back when Delphine pretended she didn't have any parents?
I mean, I don't know if I say it like that. I wasn't back there for that. I was too busy chatting her up. But yeah, she was there at my friend's place, which was kind of weird. I probably should have knew better. Kind of just thinking maybe they just happened to know each other, and talked to her a little bit about some things I didn't like or liked about you guys, and she turned out I guess she or someone she knew turned my best friend into a fungus zombie, and he got blown up in front of me. So yeah.
What did she look like?
I'll just kind of give her general description of Vanessa, if I remember correctly, with like blondish like hair, glasses, really nice looking, suit, all that.
Artie immediately reaches down into his satchel and pulls out a tablet and starts typing into the tablet really quick. Okay. That's... Wow. That is a lot. What? Yes, I'll have to talk to Charles about that. That is... What did you say?
It's just rambled about a bunch of different stuff about...
What did you say specifically?
Oh, I'm working there, okay? It's hard. I'm not lying. It's hard to remember a little bit because I literally watched my best friend got blown up in front of me.
Oh, for sure.
After.
No, we'll handle that. I'm totally getting there. But just to make sure we cover, did you say anything about this place?
Out of character. I don't think I mentioned this place. I think
you
I
said
mentioned
Lettuce Lake.
Place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say I mentioned Lettuce Lake, and I mentioned some of the things that, I mentioned like Delphine with like, cool, like new stuff about like spiritual stuff, and, mentioned some of the things I didn't like about how like, Juniper seemed to be always upset all the time and just kind of an ass and unpleasant to be around.
Okay. Did you mention anything about the leadership? Anybody's names specifically?
At this point, Delphine is now grabbing a beer because she has to live through this again.
I think one more time. Okay. I don't think I mentioned Aspen.
I don't think so. No.
No. Yeah. So I'll just say No, I didn't mention anything about the leadership.
Okay. All right. He's still typing in the tablet. All right. Well, puts the tablet away as you relay the details as much as you can remember. I'm sorry that that happened. That's terrible. And I can't even begin to, I mean, I had no idea that she was up there. As far as we knew, she was only down here. We'd heard she'd done some dealings up there, but we didn't know that she had returned up there, especially this recently.
And sometimes in two places at once.
At the same time?
Based on what we were figuring out when we first met her on the timeline. At least she couldn't have made both of those places in the amount of time it took for them to drive where they were.
Yeah, we encountered her at a truck stop, probably like 3 hours away from Hell, as we were dropping off a truck at a designated location.
Around the same time.
Yeah, and I think maybe 30 minutes after that, she was in the Hell Saloon.
Okay.
I at least got to find out she talked about some of her coworkers. Apparently one of them was someone that was like lost, kind of ambitious. But they made him super focused, gave him a right track now, and they apparently mentioned that their CEO is, something about whipping people into the right direction, or to go. I just remember this brain held on to the whipping part that I took in a different kind of context, but now it might not be that way. I'm kind of worried it literally means it.
Right. That's any detail is important. So this is good information, Forge. Thank you. Okay. All that being said, I'll pass all this along to Charles. Thank you for passing that along, but let's get to what's really important here. Your friend. This is how they get us. They look for our vulnerabilities. This is when we need our pack the most. So thank you, first off, for sharing that with all of us. Because who else are you going to share it with? Who else is going to understand better than the guru you're sitting with now? I think in one way or another, we've all experienced some kind of impact that the forces of the worm has had. Or maybe something else in Guru society, or the supernatural society, has had. Nobody else is going to understand you better than your pack, better than your Sept. We have all been impacted in one way or another. We need to be able to share these things, and we need to be able to share how they affect us. Because when you bottle that all up inside, when you hold on to that, it breaks you down. It does. I know. I had no one to share it with. I didn't know any other guru. I didn't realize how much it affected me until I finally was around other guru. It's okay to tell other people your trauma. It doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you less. We all have it. Yours isn't special. Yours isn't different. We all have it. It's okay. We all get it. Yours is yours. Mine is mine. We can share the burden together. We can share the load together. And we can get revenge together.
Forge currently trying his hardest to maintain like the strong stoic, trying to stay nonchalant face, but every now and again kind of breaking, and see a quiver in the lip or a little bit of eyes starting to tear up as he'll just say, I'll be okay as long as I can get revenge and make it sure I can make sure his death meant something. It'll be okay. It's fine. It's it doesn't bother me that much. I'm okay.
It's okay if it does. It should. Something was taken from you, something very important, and it was taken from you by the worm, by Pentex, by the forces that we're fighting against. This is our fight. This is our struggle. This is our war. But it doesn't just impact us as Guru, it impacts the people we care about. And it impacts people we don't even know. Those are the people we're protecting. Those are the people that we are fighting for. We will get revenge for your friend, Forged. We will make his death mean something. And we'll make sure that others don't suffer that same fate.
Yeah, I was gonna ask at some point. I have someone I know. She's my baby mama to my kid, and I didn't know if y'all had any way to make sure that they were good, because it's they're gonna keep doing stuff like that. I can't just leave them alone. But I can't be there all the time if I'm gonna get back for Duncan.
Yeah. There's things we can do. We can set up surveillance. We can do patrols that stop by. This is where sharing helps. This is where us knowing things helps. I know. Does it make you think you look weak? It might, but you're not. This is how we help each other. When we know each other's vulnerabilities, we protect against them. It's not making you vulnerable to us. It's making us stronger against them. I'm not going to use your vulnerability against you, Forged. I'm going to make sure your vulnerability doesn't get out, that they can't use it against you. You know what I'm good at? Making people disappear. Online and off. That's what I'm good at. I can do that for you if I know who you need to protect. Charles can make people disappear in the opposite way. Aspen can get people out of jail or put them in.
Yeah. I'll tell you where she is, later. I'm just
Yeah.
God, I'm sorry. I must look so stupid right now. And he kind of like straightens himself up and kind of wipes his face, and the face a little red as he takes some deep breaths and kind of tries to look as big as he can.
Forge, I don't think anyone wants anything bad to happen to your kid.
And you don't look stupid. I'm sorry that you had to see that happened to you. It really sucks.
I will reach over and like put my hand on Forge's shoulder if he lets me.
There's like a moment where like stiffens up and like the hand slightly raises like he's gonna stop, like swipe it off, and then he just takes a sigh, kind of like deflates a little bit. He puts his hand down. He lets himself kind of like the weight on him is pushing him down.
Losing a friend like that is one of the hardest things. I mean, my best friend that I'd known for almost 15, 16 years. Friend I went through all of school with, friend I signed up to go into the army with. I failed to protect him in one of the most crucial moments during my last deployment. And mine wasn't quick. It wasn't a sudden explosion, but it was a slow decline watching him go. Not becoming what he was, what I remember him of, laying in that hospital bed. And I failed to save him in that moment. I can send condolences and I can understand your pain, but in any way, I know that I can help you in this revenge. I will help you in any way I can.
It's unfair, man. Dude was pretty awesome. He had good grades. He, did wrestling, made me go to every practice, even though I fucking hated it. I just wanted to just not go there. He was a great dude, and he's the one that dies because of me, and I'm still around. And I was deadbeat, and I'm still forged from failures. I'm still kind of an ass, and why people like me get to stick around when dudes like Duncan have to go.
I mean, I don't know if I could answer that. But like you said, you're around now to make sure that his death didn't mean anything. That it didn't mean nothing. You can do what you need to do to make sure that his memory that you have is kept to that standard that you know him by. He may be gone, but every memory you have, every little thing that you remember about him is something you can hold on to. And when you finally enact that revenge, it'll feel that much sweeter with that memory held inside.
It's just nod as he'll kind of look over, just say, "Thanks, man. I'm not good with this shit. It's kind of annoying, but I do feel at least somewhat better." He'll lean back in his chair, like kind of looked exhausted by this conversation and opening up, and just take another bite of his way too oversized double marshmallow s'more.
So I have a tradition I want to start as our Sept. But before I get into that, I want to ask, does anyone else have anything they want to say before I bring this all to a close? Okay. I have a task for all of you. One of the things that establishes a cairn is its hearth. You got these path stones from the hearths of other cairns. They open the gates to those cairns. Got one from the Hell cairn. We've got one from the Wisconsin cairn. But a hearth needs many stones to build it. My assignment for each of you is to find a stone that signifies you. I want you to bring your stone to our hearth so that we can build a ring around this fire pit of all of our stones. Because once the ring is complete, it will represent all of us and it will build our gate. And no matter what, no matter how far we stray, no matter where we go, no matter where this guru life takes us, we can always return to this hearth because this hearth is our home. So when you go out into the woods or down by the river, or even into some parking lot in Ybor where you find a concrete slab broken off of a parking barrier, find a rock that represents you and bring it to our hearth. Let it represent you here. Because this is your home. This is your hearth. We're building it together, all of us. Forget what you've done before. Forget the mistakes you've made. Forgive each other as best as you can. Let go of who you've been. Become who you are. As a pack, as individuals, as Guru. And let's move forward together as a Sept. Because this war sucks, and it's hard, and we're losing. But if we establish something great, we establish something powerful, maybe we can put a dent in this thing, and maybe we can turn the tide. Can you do that for me?
She'll just nod stiffly.
Forge would nod as he says, "You know, Artie, you really were born too late. Those hippies would have loved you, man. It would have been your crowd."
You should have seen me with dreads.
A little chuckle from that, just imagining Artie with dreads.
Yeah. I can find a rock. But also dreads?
Yeah. Not even a year ago.
I can find something. Hopefully I find something good, but I'll find something.
Don't hope. Just make the choice.
Okay, Yoda.
Charles, actually.
All right. Enjoy the drinks. Have a few s'mores. Y'all are due back here in the morning. Charles has a mission for you. So enjoy it now, because we got work to do.
Thank you, Artie.
I'm always here. Don't be afraid to seek me out, especially if you got something on your mind. And with that, we transition to our final scene of tonight's story. The next day, the pack is called back to the cairn. Some of you may have stayed the night at the cairn. Some of you went back to the house to sleep in your beds. But when you arrive, Charles is there waiting. Everyone is assembled by the fire. In fact, you can still see some glowing embers from the night before's revelry in the cairn. The smoke drifts lazily upward towards the sky. Charles stands, his hands folded in front of him, taking you all in as you approach. Once you're all gathered, he clears his throat. Welcome back, Hell Hounds. Congratulations on accomplishing your task. Despite the bumps in the road in getting the job done, the job was done. That's what matters. I received the briefing from Aspen about what occurred in Michigan. I received a briefing from Artie about the other details of what occurred. All of it will be dealt with. But what must be dealt with now is what's next. Your next assignment. You have proven yourselves capable. Now I want you to prove yourselves Guru. I want you to hunt. We have found that the threat that has been plaguing the area as of late is capable of infecting humans, Guru, and now leeches. And when leeches are infected, they spread the infection to anything that they feed upon. And this has caused the infection to spread rapidly. I have found one particular source, a leech that is carrying the infection and spreading it. In fact, I believe they have created a horde of followers. They seem to have some control over themselves, unlike most of the hive-minded creatures we have encountered so far. Some independence, which is unusual for these creatures.
Could it possibly be because they're worm creatures as it is?
I'm not sure. Any information that can be found out about this creature would be useful, but the top priority is to hunt them down and destroy them and anything that they have with them. They were last seen at a farmhouse on the outskirts on the east side of Tampa, but they may have moved since then. One thing that I have learned is they have the ability to go underground during the day, so they could sink beneath the earth, as can the minions they have created. When the night goes dark, they arise from the ground, from the very soil beneath their feet. And they can do this at will. This makes them especially tricky to hunt. They seem to have the ability to sense creatures walking above them, the tremors beneath your feet. So stealth is especially necessary when approaching where they are. My advice: look into missing persons reports, as anyone that they have taken leaves no trace. They don't kill, they consume and take with them. They recruit. I need you to track down this creature. I need you to destroy it. Luckily, fire works. However, fire will also kill you. So be very careful of your use of fire. We know it works on the minions. We are not entirely sure about the leech. If it is not possible to take down the creature with the fire, contain it and call for backup. We do have some limited iron resources. If the fire doesn't work, the iron will. And I will provide an iron weapon to your pack to use, but only if necessary. Because once an iron weapon is used on one of the creatures, it melts, and the iron is tarnished. This is why we needed a steady supply of iron. It is not reusable.
So essentially, we have to hunt down a fungus leech with a small horde of other leech zombies that can all go underground and hide during the day and night, and they can tell if we're walking above them. So we have to find a way to, I guess, not alert them.
If you can, or alert them and prepare to fight.
I wonder if we could set up those things that you can put in the ground that send out little pulses that usually keep moles away in yards and stuff, and trip off like a false somebody's walking over and get them gathered up in one area and set it ablaze.
Like Dune.
What?
You know, like the thumper thing from Dune?
What
You never
what-
seen it?
No, I don't.
Oh, it's a movie. Some people say it's a book, but I don't give a fuck about it. But the movie is pretty good.
I do know it from the book, yes.
So
We'll
you
have to
said
watch it.
you said that this leech has a horde. I'm assuming you don't know the exact number of that horde.
I have been
Estimate
trimming
right now?
back. I have been trimming back their horde for months now.
How many have you killed so far?
Over 100.
Never mind about the mole tool idea. I think we're gonna need something bigger than that.
Well, I
Isn't
mean,
over 100 missing people around the... Isn't that suspicious? Just...
I believe most of them came from the homeless population, those that would go unknown, and also consider who we're dealing with. Pentex can make it that missing people go unnoticed. A lot of the missing persons reports have suddenly vanished from the public database.
Has Artie been able to track anybody regardless of it disappearing from the public eye?
He's been helping. And that's why we've been able to locate some of the hives for me to trim back, but we have to catch them as soon as they're posted, because many of them will disappear shortly after, usually within 48 hours.
So, with Artie tracking the missing persons report and doing the best he can, and you going to locations and culling the hives, have you found a path that potentially this leech could be taking, or is it random? Like, do we have a place to narrow down our search initially?
I believe most of the hives have been called out to the eastern farmlands outside of town. This is primarily to keep them out of notice. A bunch of mushroom creatures walking around downtown would create quite a stir. As far as the feeding pattern of the leech, I have not been able to determine. There have been many of the homes that have been invaded, a lot of the missing person addresses seem to be some of the more rundown urban neighborhoods around those outskirts, but they are pushing inward. But they seem to vary up their pattern. They are not sticking to a specific neighborhood.
Like, that sounds like that farmhouse. And I mean, if you think about it, couldn't we just, if we need to get past them without being noticed, can't we just go to like the spirit land? I don't know if they can go into the spirit land, but if we walk through there, we shouldn't make noise, right? Or just ask the spirit of, why can't we also ask the spirit of the earth to kill them? Can they do that? Delphine, can they?
She'll just look at him like, I can't, maybe, I don't know. I can't ask a spirit of the land. I can't convince a spirit to do anything right now. Much less kill a horde of plant zombies.
That's also assuming that the land itself isn't already infested with this weird ass fungus.
Well, one of the other issues we have been dealing with is that this plague is infecting spirits as well and turning them into banes.
So it's a very similar situation like in the housing developments.
Correct.
So if we go to the Umbra, the spirit land, they're, instead of fighting fungus zombies, we'll be fighting probably banes then.
It's not a terrible strategy. This leech and its horde is not necessarily connected to the primary threat. It is its own threat as far as we have assessed. They are not necessarily a joined entity. That is why I need you to take it out on your own, so that we don't have two fronts to fight on. So I believe in the Umbra you would be safe. But that's why you need a capable theurge to make sure the path is clear before you enter. And you do have a capable theurge.
Delphine has her own doubts in that comment right now, but she says nothing in regards to it.
Question to one of the previous statements you made. With the iron weapon, if we accidentally used it on one of the hordes, would it also deteriorate?
Yes.
Okay, so this is
Any contact with anyone who has been infected causes the weapon to deteriorate. Now, it may vary the level of deterioration. Some of the lesser minions causes a minor deterioration. A greater minion will cause a full deterioration.
How are we supposed to pick out which one is the leech, though, if it's surrounded by a horde?
They will be more powerful. They will move with leech-like abilities, and they will likely not bear the noted features of the minions, the growths, the extra body parts, the typical features you've seen before. Since they are a leech, they still likely have their regenerative capabilities. The infection is sticking primarily to their bloodstream.
Yeah, I mean, you probably hear something if there was some weird fungus, leech, vampire thing running around in the, that area. Someone would probably see something at some point. But if it looks normal, then makes sense why it's not been, caught.
I would like to see all the information that you've compiled, like all the missing persons reports, all like the locations of the hives, map it out. just to have a physical idea of what we're
Of course.
dealing with.
I also would like to inform all of you of the state of things since your departure. A lot has changed. There are some new developments you should be made aware of.
Yeah, you said you were going to talk about the dragon when we got back.
It is hardly a dragon. It just can turn into, in its war form, something resembling a dragon. But we have a Mokale, a weregator, that lives across the bridge in Pinellas County, known as She Who Shines. She is becoming a tenuous ally of our Sept, and she is not to be trifled with. She lives in the Whedon Preserve over in Pinellas County. You are not to step into that preserve without invitation for any reason. She has been given full permission to murder anyone from this Sept who goes across those lines, and we will claim no ownership over them. That is her
Can she breathe-
territory.
But
Sorry.
can she breathe fire?
Yes.
So she is a dragon.
In her war form, she seems to resemble a dragon, yes.
Oh god. Okay. All right. I'm just gonna start assuming that everything imaginable exists at this point.
Well, that takes me to my next point. We apparently have a previously extinct shape-changing creature in our midst that may begin staying at the cairn, known as a Kamazotz, a werebat, not to be mistaken with a leech. In their war form, they look like a man bat, but they can also change into a bat itself. Apparently, their name is Alexander, and against my best wishes, we are trying to help them, as they have been alone for quite some time, and they are being, or have been, getting slowly corrupted by the worm, and we are trying to help them recover.
They were if that species was extinct, how did they come back?
That is a very complicated answer that I can barely begin to scratch the surface of. You would have to speak to Eliza on that.
Fair enough.
It's beyond my comprehension, Delphine, honestly.
So there's no territory that we have to avoid and we'll get insta-murked if we walk into it, just kind of chilling there?
No, this one is our guest. So if you see a stranger, brown hair, a wild look in their eye, a beard, likely shirtless, wandering around the cairn, do not be alarmed, but also be on your guard. They are a little twitchy.
So your average party goer at Ybor, got it.
Something like that.
Just a feral bat hanging out at the cairn. It doesn't have rabies, does it?
Not that we're aware of.
It was a bad joke. Sorry.
I have also printed out, and I will send you digital copies of a map. After dark, you are not to enter into any of these city territories. Any of these locations, any of these boundaries. As of this moment, We are under a temporary truce with the city leeches.
Oh.
I will answer any questions you have about it.
Why?
What?
The leeches exchanged iron and information to help combat the plant threat.
Okay, but if we can't even, like, go out during our usual time.
Only in these city territories.
Will the territories on the map, will that impede our investigation?
Hopefully not. But if they do, get creative.
So, just looking over the map, what main areas are we not allowed in?
After dark, a good majority of the downtown area. And the university.
I have like a copy of the map, and I'm not even looking at it. I'll just say, did that include Ybor?
No.
Oh, thank God. Okay. There's another place that I want to go, but as long as we got that one, I'm all right. I'm chilling.
Although I will say the Castle nightclub is on there.
What? Castle? That's not even fair. Castle, that's like the main place to go. That's where all the hot chicks go. You telling me I can't go there?
This is the agreement.
You're gonna have to make sacrifices, Forged.
Did they make any sacrifices?
They are giving us the iron necessary to fight, as well as a great deal of information. It is a tenuous truce. But they also understand that outside of those boundaries, any leeches are fair game. So if you see any leeches outside of those boundaries, they are fair game if they are committing obvious acts.
I'm assuming that doesn't include Spud, right? And she just, like, kind of glances over at Juniper's direction, who has been very open about how she wants to kill Spud.
Spud is an ally of the Sept. He has been a valuable resource and he is not considered part of the city.
So what's exactly the consequence if we were just happen to be there in the nighttime? Just in case, just so I know, I'm aware.
We lose our iron supply. At least on one front until Michigan delivers.
So pretty bad. Okay.
Plus, the leeches do have an inside track to information about what is going on at Piney Point, and they have been delivering valuable information.
But why are they delivering that information? What do they get out of this?
They are losing a foothold. They're getting slowly co-opted in power, apparently.
So it's an enemy of my enemy is my friend situation.
Unfortunately, yes. Believe me, the anger you are feeling is shared on this side. This was a necessary evil to make sure that we were not fighting on both fronts again. And it is temporary, I assure you.
We can only handle fighting the fungus and Pentex situation.
More infected leashes would be a bigger problem.
For everybody.
Correct.
If we ever, like, not if, when we get to the point of handling the Piney Point situation, are they going to come in and try and take over that? Are we going to end up having to fight them right there in that moment? Or was there something discussed?
Right now, the belief is that we will make a joint attack. But that is still being discussed. And regardless of what they try to do, we are preparing for the possibility that they will try and betray us. We are not foolish. We know how they operate. But they are also at a weak disadvantage after we killed their leaders.
That's a rough situation, to put it lightly. But I can understand the enemy of my enemy is my friend. I mean, we were struggling with just us. So fighting on, you said not wanting to fight on 2 fronts, but fighting on 3 fronts with the leeches, the infected leeches, and then the spore. I don't think that would have been possible.
You see our quandary. Not to mention the unexpected arrival of other changing breeds. The Mokale, the Kamazats, and who knows what else could be coming.
If I can share an idea, perhaps.
Please.
Got me thinking from last night. We have people we care about. Leeches have to have people they care about too. If we find someone that Bateman is his name?
Yes.
If we find someone that he cares about, could we put some people on them whenever we do have to attack?
Of course. That is a very good strategy.
Guarantee their cooperation at least until the end of it.
The difficulty with leeches is finding those people. They tend to keep those people close and under very close observation. They have been at this a lot longer than we have. But if it is possible, certainly.
It's a lot to take in after just coming back, but I think we should focus on the mission that we've been handed. We can worry about everything else after that, or talk about it at a different time, but...
Your success has earned you a level of disclosure. Continued success earns you more. I am here because of the good work you are doing. I want to see you succeed, and I will do anything to make that happen. We know what's going on is troublesome. We know an alliance with the leeches is far beyond anything any of us would wish for. It is a chess game when it should be checkers, but it is a chess game regardless.
The best part about those kind of games that no one expects you to flip the board. So if at one point, I mean, we're all strong enough to probably kick all their asses anyways if we need to.
They're afraid of us. That's why they wanted the alliance.
I have a question regarding a possibility that might come up during this fight. When we were on that ship, there was a leech that did something crazy to both Forged and Ray, and they were on the ground in obvious pain and mental anguish of some sort. What are the best ways that we can protect ourselves from that, assuming that other leeches have those abilities?
I'm glad you asked. Charles actually reaches down and picks up a duffel bag and drops it on the wooden table. He opens the duffel bag and pulls out noise-canceling headphones and a pair of really, really thick black sunglasses. Whenever I go into a conflict with leeches, I deafen and blind myself. I have trained myself to fight this way. I don't recommend it. But dulling your senses is a way to avoid. Sharpening your mind and your resistance is a way to avoid. but they have ways to break through. But if you completely cut off their access, that's the best way to avoid it.
Okay. I will probably try that in a not mission.
You understand my training now.
Yes. Yes. I just nod my head. Suddenly, like, it's all clicking together now.
You have 6 senses. Use them. As Guru, your senses are sharper. Smell, taste, touch, hearing, sight, and spirit. There are other ways to combat enemies beyond just seeing them, beyond just hearing them. Use the gifts you've been taught. Speak with your patrons. Speak with your elders. There's a reason Gaia made us, because we are the perfect creatures to combat creatures of the worm. We were built to combat them.
It sounds like it would kind of suck for trying to tell each other what we're going to do or plans, but I mean, I guess there's no other option, I suppose. Sounds like, though, this guy, I don't know, I mean, it sounds like he's not really in the ballpark for mind control when he already had mind-controlling fungus. I mean,
I believe this creature that you're going to be hunting doesn't use mind control. As far as I know, he is one of the woodland variety leeches. They prefer to use animal companions, and they can turn into animals themselves at times or grow claws. They don't rely on mental capabilities as much.
so like a shittier version of us. Man, it must suck. Just the
Indeed.
second rate.
Actually, Spud might be someone to talk to about that. His raccoon, it's not his. It says he has a friend that it belongs to, actually.
You may talk to Spud if it will help you with this mission.
I
With
can
your
handle
pack
talking.
leader.
She literally growls.
A mission talk with Spun.
I have to abide by my Sept leader.
It'll be fine, Delphine. It'll go smoothly.
Yeah, and speaking of Sept leader, did Aspen ever mention to you about like the possibility of a pay raise? The allowance raise. We have a little bit of a bill to pay, and
I heard about that. I think your pay will stay the same to make up for the fact that I have to pay for a house. So let's consider that your pay raise.
You can't hate a player for trying. That's all I gotta say.
I certainly cannot. Do this well and we'll talk. We cannot draw a lot of attention to this. If the news gets wind of these activities, if you're burning down buildings left and right, it becomes a problem. We believe that the two entities are not connected. It is possible that the Piney Point organization may also try to get involved. Be aware. There is a creature that was grown by the Piney Point organization. It can take the form of a 15-foot wolf made of vines that can break apart into 7 wolves and reform into a single wolf. If you encounter this creature, run. Fire does not work, and we do not have the silver to take it down. Or the iron to take it down.
Jesus fucking Christ. What the
Sounds like they're mocking us.
Indeed. It is a large beast. We have encountered it once already. It is seemingly connected to the hive mind, and they have spoken through it and made some veiled threats.
Hey Charles, do you think that's maybe connected to that thing we found out, in the house?
I believe it's an experiment of theirs, similar but not the same.
What thing in the house?
Yeah, what house?
When we went looking for buried treasure at the housing development, we found a abomination, a werewolf that had been turned into a vampire. We destroyed it.
I just look over at Forge with a blank face.
I thought you said that wasn't possible. We were
We
learning
didn't
about
think
leeches
it
and all
was.
that. Have
But-
you found out more about that?
Well, it was a black spiral dancer from back during the first Sept that took up residence here. There were black spiral dancers in the area. Now, black spiral dancers are servants of the worm. So it's possible that because of its connection to the worm, it was already close enough that the transfer was easier. Our protection from Gaia prevents it. But because they are not servants of Gaia directly, and they have given themselves to the worm, it's possible that it was done.
I think they're involved. When we were up in Michigan, I had a vision before we left that I had to give to the Hell Sept. Something involving the spiral in the mines.
I'm glad you mentioned that. They are involved. That is some of the information we found out from the leeches.
This just keeps compounding.
It's a big deal.
Oh, so maybe, I've had a couple things mention like the spiral to me and everything. Maybe that's what they're talking about. I gotta kill that kind of stuff, like the time we killed that abomination. If it was a spiral, maybe that's what they're talking about.
Maybe so.
Man, I really hate telling you this, but we were only gone for a few weeks, and this feels like 2 years worth of stuff. It's like a Brandon Sanderson novel at the last 20%.
Welcome to being involved. You earned your spot. Now revel in it. This is the veil being lifted. This is being in the inner circle. This is being part of the Sept. For real this time. The training wheels are off. Show me it was worth it.
We'll do it. We'll show you.
I know you will.
We'll show ourselves more than anything.
Because the alternative is death. And I don't mean that as a threat. I mean that to protect you.
Like I said earlier, this is a lot, but let's just focus on the one thing. That should be our main goal.
I will provide a dossier about the various kinds of mushroom minions you may encounter, especially the ones that are capable of infecting Guru. Those are the ones you have to be the most cautious of, because we have found a cure of sorts, but it is very, very strenuous to the Guru to receive it, and we can't guarantee survival. We were very lucky that Jason was able to survive the procedure.
I mean, knowing our track record, breaking and tearing shit up is what we do best, even when that's not our job, so I'm sure we'll do just fine.
Could we get Spud's information? I don't have it anymore. I lost my phone.
I will make sure that the contact information is passed on, yes. Any other questions?
This is all just a lot to even try and explain. So, I think that we just need to process this and look at all the information and then come back with any questions.
Avail yourselves of the resources of the Sept. We have been fighting this, as Delphine said, for years. This has been our life. No one knows more about us, about all of this, than we do. So talk to us. We will tell you what we know. We will teach you how to combat this. We will help you any way we can. But in the end, you are the ones out there fighting. You are the ones out there together, side by side, combating this threat. If you are unable to do that, learn that soon. I believe you can. With that, Charles passes over dossiers and maps and paperwork. And with a new mission and a new level of respect from the elders of the Sept, the Hell Hounds prepare for the assignment that lays ahead of them. And this is where our story comes to a close. But not without one last scene. We find ourselves outside of the city of Tampa, out in the farmlands to the east. It is quiet as the sun sets on the horizon of the Gulf. A light breeze blows through the high grasses in the field. There are some cows grazing in the farmland. As one of the cows stops to bend down and chew on some grass, it suddenly sinks down into the ground. Then, rising slowly from the ground, speckling the horizon of the field, several humanoid and non-humanoid looking shapes start to rise. bulbous growths distending from their bodies. Even the cow itself, moments later, rises from the ground, conjoined to another creature. Maybe a horse? It's hard to say. It has 7 legs and 2 heads. They slowly shuffle across the fields to a house in the distance, lights on in the windows. And this is where our story ends. Thank you so much to these amazing players. Thank you to everyone watching at home. Hell Hounds is back, baby, and we are so happy to be back. So join us next Friday for another episode here on YouTube. And Rage Across Tampa is also back, so tune in on Tuesdays over on Twitch. And if you're not a part of our community, come join us on that Discord link down below, because we are playing 5th edition, 20th anniversary, and Chronicles of Darkness games over on that Discord. So come join us and stay tuned to our social media, because we have a very, very big announcement coming in the next 2 weeks. And if you want to find out what it is, you got to stay tuned to the social media to see what it is. So check that out. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Have a lovely evening, everyone.